A lot of consultants tell me that they want to move into product management, and honestly, I think many people underestimate how difficult product actually is. Not because they're not capable, but because product isn't just delivery with a different title. So in this video, I'm going to give you a straight answer. Can you move from consulting to product management? And should you? Also, I'm going to cover the one big thing that almost everyone gets completely wrong. So first, let's cover a little bit of context about me. I've been working in consulting for over a decade, sometimes in organisations that are a bit more strategic, other times more focused on delivery. And I've gone through a series of different roles, starting as a Scrum Master to becoming an Agile coach, and more recently, I've been much more focused on product-centric roles. And over that time, I've worked now on over 15 different products, often in ambiguous early stage spaces. My job is normally to take a problem or opportunity area and explore what kind of product should we build and get it to something that's launched in market to see whether it's got some real value. And so I've now done that a number of different times, but I've also had periods where I've been seconded into a organization and worked as a product role inside those organizations. So I've actually seen both sides of the equation. And here's my main take. You don't actually have to leave consulting to become a product manager. If you're in the right environment, then you can learn all of the skills and get some brilliant training to get there, as long as you're intentional about it. Here is where I think people go wrong. I hear a load of different consultants say, I've worked in digital, I've delivered things, I've worked in agile, why not just become a product manager? But product management isn't just delivery. If you're finding yourself in a situation where you're taking in a brief, you're building a product and you're delivering it on time, that's great. But that's delivery, that isn't product. A great product manager asks a bunch of questions. Are we solving the right problem? Are we delivering value? And should we even be building this in the first place? And I've seen this firsthand. Projects where the teams delivered perfectly, but the thing that they delivered didn't have any value. People didn't use it, the business didn't get the outcomes they were looking for. And that is the real difference between someone that is questioning and asking those product questions versus someone that is basically delivering. And look, from my experience, great product managers are really good in 3 areas. Firstly, they think in outcomes, not outputs. A lot of consultants are trained to deliver things. Good product managers are obsessed with what are we trying to achieve, what's the business outcome, and what changes because of this. And that means challenging stakeholders, not just accepting briefs and being comfortable with pushing back. This is where product becomes strategic and not just executional. Secondly, they are genuinely human-centered. This one is a big one for me. I have a background of being very design-led, design thinking, human-centered design. And honestly, if you are not close to your users, you're just guessing. Good product managers talk to users, they understand behavior and they test ideas early. And I've worked on products where we thought we knew what users wanted and we were completely wrong. So if you're in consulting, lean into this. Get involved in user research, service design, discovery work. That's where real product skills are built. Thirdly, they connect business, tech, and delivery. And this is what makes product hard. You're constantly balancing desirability, what the users want, feasibility, what we can build, and viability, what makes business sense. And different stakeholders own each of those. Your job is to bring it all together, which means thinking commercially, understanding constraints, and making trade-offs. And look, that's not something you learn overnight. That comes from building up your experience working on real products. Now, here's the thing that people don't talk about enough. Consulting can actually set you up to be a brilliant product manager if you use it properly. Because in consulting, you get exposure to different industries, early stage ambiguous problems, opportunities to build business cases, and stakeholder management at all levels. To take a really practical example, as you get more senior working as a consultant, you're likely pitching for work and justifying why it's valuable, why is this something that matters, and why are you the right people to deliver it. All of that is product thinking when you come down to it. And while you're doing things like that, you're building up your communication skills, your collaboration skills, and your ability to critically problem solve. And all of that is absolutely important in product. However, there is a downside. You can't stay in delivery mode forever. If you are just in the process of delivering what you're asked for and you don't ask why, you don't challenge what we're doing in the first place at the right points, then you're going to be stuck just delivering and not moving into those product level conversations. And where that becomes the case, then consulting can actually hold you back if you're not intentional about it. If you're not deliberately leaning into the discovery work or having those strategic conversations, at that point, you're not then owning problems, you're just delivering tasks. And a final thought around this, because people will always ask, should you go in-house? And in my view, that completely depends on what you're looking for. As consulting gives you variety, exposure, and fast learning, whereas in-house gives you depth, ownership, and long-term impact, seeing a product go from an idea to something real over years. But both are valuable. So my honest advice, as someone that has considered this many times themselves, but I've also had loads of conversations with more junior product managers about the same topic, is you don't necessarily have to go to a whole different organization just to take a role that has product in the title. You can build up a lot of the skills from where you are today. And that's been my experience. I love working on new, innovative, ambiguous products. That's what gets me really excited. I like it in that startup mode. And you get a lot of that in consultancies if you're in the right space. And through that, you can develop into different areas of product. Some products you can work more into a user research, discovery space, and others you can have more strategic conversations. And in developing both, you actually make yourself a much more rounded product person at the end of it. So I feel very comfortable going in-house somewhere now, but also I quite enjoy the variety that consulting gives me. So you can totally go from consulting to product management, just be intentional about it. But don't think that consulting doesn't help you develop and become a great product manager in of itself. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and also subscribe to the channel where I share loads of tips for product managers. And increasingly, I'm trying out different AI tools that are helping me as a product manager today, and I'm testing them out on this channel too. So if any of that's interesting to you, then make sure you follow along for the journey. In the meantime, have a great day and I'll see you on the next one.